Hello dear students, welcome back again to Chinmoy's YouTube channel. So today we are going to discuss about a new topic, that is breathing mechanism in humans. So in the previous episode we have already discussed about the gaseous exchange in lungs and tissues. So that was a very important topic, and today's topic is also very important. So let us get started with today's episode of breathing. So by the end of today's lesson, we will learn how the breathing mechanism is happening with the help of both external and the internal intercostal muscles, and what is inhalation and exhalation. So all the roles of muscles will be discussed in today's episode, and the process of inhalation and exhalation with detailed diagram. So dear students, please do subscribe to my channel if you want to learn more in this lesson as well as all the other lessons as per your curriculum, whatever I am teaching. So you know I am teaching as per ICSE curriculum. So please do subscribe, stay tuned, stay updated, and write in my comment box if you are having any doubts, any queries, or any type of videos or lessons you want me specifically to discuss, so that I can come up with that video. So let us get started with today's episode. Now first we should know that what is breathing. So breathing is always, it is a cyclical pattern. So it moves around in a cycle. So air is passed in and out of the lungs by alternate expansion and contraction of the thoracic cavity. So the thoracic cavity, once it's contracting and the next time it's expanding, and it's always a cyclical pattern. It moves on continuously in that process. That is, air is passed in and out of the lungs by alternate expansion and contraction of the thoracic cavity. And how is this happening? So this is brought by the movements of the internal intercostal muscles, which is located in between the ribs. So what are intercostal muscles? They are located in between the ribs, and the diaphragm muscles, which alter the volume of thoracic cavity. So we have told that the thoracic cavity is expanding and it is contracting. So how this contraction and expansion of thoracic cavity is happening? This is due to the contraction and expansion of the diaphragm muscles and the intercostal muscles. And how the breathing is happening? The breathing is happening in two steps. One is inhalation or inspiration, and next one is exhalation or expiration. So these are the two ways of breathing: inhalation and exhalation. Now what is happening in inhalation? So what is inhalation? So inhalation or breathing involves the contractions mainly of the diaphragm and the external intercostal muscles. So first let us know what is diaphragm. Diaphragm also is a muscular structure which is located just below the thoracic cavity, and it is a part which divides the thoracic cavity from the digestive system. Is it clear? Now, what is external intercostal muscle? So these are actually, this is a muscle between the costal cartilages, and it is replaced by a membranous layer called the external intercostal muscles. So this is called the external intercostal muscles, and when these are contracting, the thoracic cavity volume increases. So when this thoracic cavity volume increases, what is happening here? It creates a space, huge space is created, and due to the forward and the outward movement of the rib cage, a space is created here, and what is happening? It increases the volume of the thoracic cavity, followed by a automatic increase in the lung volume. So lung volume increases and the lungs expand. What happens? That as the lung expands, all of a sudden the air pressure inside the lung reduces all of a sudden, and so the air from the atmosphere, it needs to rush inside the lungs to keep it inflated. In that condition only, through the air passages. So this is called inhalation. So this is what is happening. The thoracic volume increases and is brought about by the simultaneous contraction of the intercostal muscles and the diaphragm muscles. Now this produces a forward and outward movement of the rib cage. So rib cage is now moving forward and outward. The action straightens and contracts the diaphragm, and this results in an increase in the volume of thoracic cavity and followed by an automatic increase in the lung volume. Is it clear? So there is an automatic increase in the lung volume. Now as the lungs expand, the air pressure in them reduces and the air rushes into them from the atmosphere through the air passages. So as this is happening, the air from the outside rushes inside to fill in this space as the lungs have expanded now. Now, if you are not filling the air inside the lungs, then what will happen? The lungs will again collapse. So, this is not a good condition. So, you need to fill in the lungs with adequate amount of air from the atmosphere. So, thus, the contraction of the intercostal as well as the diaphragm muscles is happening, and which is it is increasing the thoracic cavity volume, and in that part we can say that the thoracic cavity is increased in such a volume that the lungs are inflated, and the air from outside, it is coming inside to fill in the air inside the lungs. So this is the process of inhalation. So what happens in the exhalation? So let us go there. Now see, this is the inspiration. We all told that this is happening in inspiration. The thoracic cavity expands, the external intercostal muscles contracts, and the diaphragm contracts. So this is leading to an increase in the lung volume, and which is causing the air from outside to fill in the lungs. So this is inspiration or inhalation. Now in case of expiration, what is happening? The opposite. The thoracic cavity reduces as the external intercostal muscle relax, the diaphragm also relax, so both are relaxing. So as both are relaxing, the lungs are squeezing. So as the lungs are squeezing, the air inside that is under huge pressure. So it should push out, or the air inside the lung should gush out. So now the air is moving out from the lungs because the pressure has decreased suddenly. As the thoracic cavity volume has reduced, lungs volume have reduced, so there is a huge pressure inside the lungs to push out the air from the lungs to the atmosphere. So that is expiration. So let us see what is there in the notes of expiration in the next slide. Now here see exhalation or expiration. What is happening? Exhalation or breathing out is brought about by the relaxation of the intercostal muscles and the diaphragm muscles. The ribs return to their original position and the diaphragm becomes dome shaped. Both these movements, they reduce the volume of the thoracic cavity, and the lungs return to their original size. So when the lungs return to original size, what is happening? The air rushes out of the lungs because the pressure inside the lungs become greater than the atmospheric pressure. So atmospheric pressure then is less than the lung pressure, so the air from the lungs gushes out to the atmosphere. So this is the inhalation procedure. What is happening? The chest expands, the thoracic cavity expands, diaphragm contracts, and the belly expands. So the air is gushing inside. Exhalation is the opposite thing, where the intercostal muscles and the diaphragm muscles, they are relaxing, and the belly is we can say the belly is contracting, and the air inside is pressure is inside more than the outside pressure, so it is pushed out through the nose and the mouth. That is, it is exhaled. It is expiration, or we are leaving the gas from the lungs to the atmosphere. So we are doing that in a under the pressure of the lungs, and the atmospheric pressure is less than the lung pressure. Okay, is it clear? So these are the two processes of inhalation and exhalation. So these two processes are fully under the relaxation and contraction of the intercostal and the diaphragm muscles, and the contraction and relaxation of the thoracic cavity. So inside the thoracic cavity is only the lungs whose squeezing and whose inflating is only reason for the inhalation and exhalation. So I think it is clear to all of you today. So this was a very small topic, that is inhalation and exhalation, and that is the mechanism of breathing. So I think it is clear to all of you. So please go through it again and again if you are having any doubts, any queries. So next lesson we will be coming back with the lung volume or lung capacities. So in the next video we will be studying that. So please do subscribe to my channel so that you can keep on getting the updates which I am teaching. So please do share my videos as much as you can, and don't forget to like and share, and write the queries or doubts in the comment box. Thank you.